Greetings, everyone. So we got some great news for Palworld, and then we have some not so great news. The great news is they've sold over 5 million units in only 3 days. And to top it off, they're the most played game on Steam right now, with a peak of 1.57 million players, and then there's some random 2 people who joined in. Concurrent players are 829,269, placing above Counter-Strike at nearly 600,000. This is monumental for an indie game. Congratulations to the developers on your huge success. Keep in mind, their player count's even higher than this because a lot of people are playing on Game Pass, such as myself. Compared to Starfield, and yes, I'm going to throw some shade at Starfield, which had a lot of Game Pass users, but not so many great sales. Now, unfortunately, with success comes people who are envious of your success, like this developer from Naughty Dog. My goodness, tell me, Palworld was made nefariously. I just have no proof, just dev intuition. Senior artist, Naughty Dog, and BAFTA. And he previously worked at Respawn and Rocksteady Games. Okay, but is it nefarious? No. As Tim Spencer, lead designer and product owner at TT Games, and another member of BAFTA, said, I looked through most of the list, especially the obvious ones. They have different features in different places and with different dimensions, different silhouettes, and different colors. More than enough that illegally, Palworld is all good. Just go enjoy the fun game, to be honest. Or touch grass. Like, honestly, a lot of people need to touch grass. And I don't mean that offensively, though I kind of do. But, like, just get off the internet. I find myself a bit too much terminally online sometimes, too. And I find myself need to go, like, just log off, exercise, read some books, play some games. And that's what some of these envious people really need to do, is just go do something else. Now, why would he be envious? Here's an article from the BBC. Their game only sold 4 million copies in 3 days. Palworld, from a smaller studio, an indie studio, sold 5 million, and it's continuing to grow. That's got to be a huge blow to their ego. Now, what about originality? Here's an article from PC Games. As you can see, Palworld CEO not into originality. New game looks like Hollow Knight. That's not actually what he said. I've always loved Nintendo games, and that hasn't changed. I also deeply respect them, Mizobi says in a 2022 interview with Wired Japan via John Cartwright. However, when it comes to making games, Nintendo has a strong philosophy of creating new and unique games with high quality, and this was questioned at the Nintendo Game Seminar. On the other hand, I have a deep-rooted desire for my work to be enjoyed by as many people as possible, and to that end, if there are good ideals in the world, I pick them. And I don't necessarily have to be particular about originality. I'm thinking about it. I want to make it more casually. I think it would be a good idea to create things in a way that jumps on what is trendy. Lols. Now, bit of a warning to him. Trends don't last long. You pick wrong, because a lot of games, aside from a lot of games, they jump on what's trendy, and by the time, because the game takes 3 to 5 years to come out, by the time it comes out, the trend's over. But he has a good eye because he saw Pokemon and he made something like Pokemon. And he's not even the first. There's Monster Rancher back in the day. There's Digimon. And there are several modern games that are basically not Pokemon. They're not even derivatives of Pokemon. They're their own thing, but it has a very similar concept to Pokemon. What Palworld has done is not unique or original in being similar to Pokemon. So these people harass them over that is ridiculous. According to IGN, the developer receiving backlash, harassment, and even death threats. Now, when it comes to harassment and backlash, I 100% believe, because we've already just demonstrated that. When it comes to death threats, I'm more skeptical. During Gamergate, we literally saw developers log on to all accounts and then try to harass and stuff. Now, are they doing this 100%? No. But we've also seen over the years, whenever a developer gets in hot water, they claim they've received death threats. When they then provide no proof, it's like, oh, just trust us. And it's like, no. I've lived long enough to see enough people falsely claim this that I am really skeptical whenever someone says they are receiving death threats. Harassment is way easier to believe. It's Twitter, a lot of narcissists, a lot of type B personality disorder people, a lot of people with brain malformations. Look up amygdala and anti-cuteness if you want to know what I'm talking about there. Or on Twitter. So yeah, you're going to receive Twitter hate, and then these people are going to attack you on Discord. They're going to attack you on your DMs and your email, and that's really unfortunate that you have this moment for them that is supposed to be huge. They sold 5 million copies. They're all hands on deck trying to get stuff fixed. They're doing interviews. This would be a really happy day for them, and they have to deal with this bullshit. Does it really matter if it's just a small batch that ruins the whole thing? Not really, because you're still doing the bullshit. And hopefully games journalists, TM, aren't going to be out there trying to paint all gamers with a negative brush because of the actions of these people. We could hope that. We're probably going to see more, derogative articles against gamers because it's another day that ends in Y. And here's what we're talking about, though. When they surveyed game developers, 91% player harassment and toxicity toward developers was an issue. 42% said it was a serious issue. All right, these are the same developers who have no problem when Ubisoft's executive says that you should not own games. These are the people that had no fucking problem pushing gambling mechanics onto children. These are developers who had no problem pushing out an unfinished product and then called you entitled for expecting a game to work when in no other industry other than software and in just gaming really in particular. Because if I'm a major corporation and I hire you to make software and you send me a buggy, broken, piece of crap program, I'm suing the hell out of you. You're going to lose that in court. But for somehow in the gaming sphere, you have all these incompetent developers, and I'll link an Asmongold video where Tim Cain's talking about his experience with this. Tim Cain blamed overcautiousness. Asmongold properly calls it out as they just don't want to take accountability, and they're straight up bitches. You have these people telling you, no, you're the problem because if you object to anything we do, you're harassing us. You're being toxic. How dare you have any standards? Like every other industry on the face of the earth. And then they act like they have the hardest job in the world. Now, look, you can have complaints at how hard your job is. Like I do YouTube right now. Before I was a writer, I would have complaints of both those. But compared to like as Asmongold pointed out, a construction worker, yeah, huge difference. And sadly, this stuff is going to get lumped together because a bunch of people in Nintendo and Sony are upset that they don't have this game. So they're going to harass the developers. And then media are going to use this as an excuse to blame gamers because the media wants to deconstruct gaming, make gamers look like this horrible bunch of people to everyone who doesn't game. And which really sucks because this is the time when we come together and say, hey, no, knock this off. But no, now we're stuck debating the politics of it because of political activists writing articles, trying to lump us all together, and not giving you the context of what people are complaining about. Like when you say, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. If you don't want politics in your games, if you don't want DEI, you don't want ESG, well, you're also being toxic and you're harassing them. You need to lick boot like a good consumer. Don't think, just get excited for next product. Now, kudos to developers of Palworld for making an exceptional game. I hope you guys make it through this point period of harassment, and everyone give them your support, or don't, just enjoy their game. I think they'd like that. And if you have some legit criticism, feedback for them, give it to them. That'll help them make a better game. That's all I gotta say. Peace out, people.